Hello, Unleash. I'm Matt, and before we begin, I want to thank you for joining me here today. You're joined here today with peers from around the world, and we're all here for the same reason: to unleash the potential of your software delivery teams and accelerate customer value through your use of Agile and DevOps practices. And we're excited to show you how Atlassian can help. This has been a big year for innovation. We've shipped tons of features across the Atlassian platform and launched 2 new products into general availability. But let me focus on a couple important ones. We'll get started with the thing that's probably top of mind, AI. Then we'll introduce you to some awesome new features in Jira Software that help you supercharge how you work. We'll share how Compass helps organizations create a world-class engineering culture. And we'll share how we up-level reporting with Jira Align and Atlassian Analytics. So let's talk about unleashing the right dev culture. Think about dev culture as the experience of making software, the practices you adopt, the tools you choose, and how it feels when you bring it all together. Most of us here are in the business of driving customer value. Having a strong dev culture and better developer experience creates higher performing, more engaged teams. And developer experience is more important than ever. No matter what you're doing, you're likely a software company. And the hardest, most valuable challenge for companies is to attract and retain awesome dev talent. Developer experience is both the right thing to do for your teams and the right thing for your bottom line as a business. In fact, Google's DevOps Research Assessment Team, or DORA for short, found that teams with a healthy dev culture have 30% higher organizational performance. And what's so great about the topic of dev culture is that culture is a team sport. Each of us plays an important part in shaping dev culture. So how do you unleash the right dev culture? Let's talk about 3 best practices. First, keep developers and the teams that support them in their flow state as much as possible. Second, reduce the cognitive load on your engineering teams and make it easy for them to have the information they need to get the job done. Third, capture the right metrics to promote a healthy culture. Let's start with number 1. Our first best practice for unleashing the right dev culture: keeping developers and the teams that support them in the flow. Today, we're asking developers to do more than ever. In addition to writing code, developers are responsible for security vulnerabilities, CI/CD and cloud configuration, and even incident response for their services in production. It's a lot to keep up with, right? And devs have to do all of that while also being pulled into 100 different directions throughout the day. In fact, the average developer spends only 20% of their week actually developing. That's why it's so important to have the tools that help you stay in the flow, not take you out of it. This past year, we put a sharp focus on the ways to help your developers maintain their flow state, starting with Atlassian Intelligence. To demonstrate how AI helps developers stay in the flow, let's walk through an example. A new developer just joined the mobile team at a financial services firm called Bankly. There's a massive update on their app in the works, and she wants to contribute as quickly as possible. Typically, she'd ask her team on Slack, "How do I get started?" But she doesn't want to take them out of their flow. Instead, she asks her question in Confluence. And with Atlassian Intelligence, she receives all the information she needs. Atlassian Intelligence even provides her with a high-level summary to get her up to speed fast. She sees Atlassian Intelligence included a reference to the project plan, so she heads to that page to get more info. The link's right there, so she just clicks it, and there are a lot of terms on this page she doesn't recognize. Project code names, unfamiliar acronyms, no sweat. She asks Atlassian Intelligence to define it. So great. She's ready to dive in and begin working on this project. The define feature isn't just available in Confluence. It's also available in the whole Jira family. So where to begin working? She knows the answer's there, somewhere in the deep, dark recesses of Jira. Like many of you, our developer is comfortable with JQL, Jira's query language that lets you find literally anything. But this is a new team with names and fields she might not even know about yet, which makes structuring your query pretty tough. No problem. She simply asks in plain English, and Atlassian Intelligence converts it to JQL automatically. Jira shows her the JQL, which means now she can do two things. First, learn a few things like the name of her team's project and other IDs. Second, edit the JQL as needed to refine her query. And this just doesn't work in English. It works in French, Korean, German, any of the other 24 languages Atlassian Intelligence speaks. Now, back to our hero. She's picked up a story to work on, and of course, she needs a test plan. Easy. Atlassian Intelligence generates a table with all the browsers she needs to test for compatibility based on the specs in the project plan. Boom. She can now get right to coding. She commits her code in Bitbucket and begins drafting a pull request. Atlassian Intelligence automatically generates a pull request description based on the diffs. Next, she asks Atlassian Intelligence to perform a code review. Atlassian Intelligence takes care of all the syntax and code conventions, so her peers can focus on providing critical feedback instead of reviewing engineering standards. But just as a developer's job isn't done once code is shipped, neither is AI's. Let's fast forward to when the new app is in production. If something breaks, our new virtual agent, powered by Atlassian Intelligence, provides a first line of support to help her resolve the issue faster. And if she needs additional support, the virtual agent will open a ticket and assign it to the appropriate team. In this case, it looks like it's a known issue. A bunch of teams across different time zones have already been working on this. Our hero would normally have to read through all the comments before taking action, but now she simply clicks the Summarize button to get all caught up. We all know things can get pretty hectic during an incident, and responses can come off a little cold. Our hero uses Atlassian Intelligence to adjust the tone of her message in seconds to build a good rapport with her team and generally keep the vibe positive. So let's recap. From getting up to speed, to finding the right thing to work on, to providing excellent service during an incident, Atlassian Intelligence was there every step of the way. It's an absolute game changer in how teams work. Atlassian Intelligence is included in the premium and enterprise editions of our cloud products. AI is an incredible productivity booster for development teams, but it's not the only way we're helping devs stay in the flow. We've shipped another highly requested feature, the Command Palette in Jira. Command Palette helps developers get things done faster than ever in Jira. All you have to do is press Command K. You can use Command Palette to do things like navigate around, search for issues, projects and filters, or update issues, and even swap between light and dark theme. Speaking of dark theme, we have over 1 million active users on dark theme since it launched earlier just this year. Command Palette is generally available for all Jira products. All right, back to keeping devs in the flow. How about during a sprint? There's a lot that happens during a sprint. Builds break, pull requests pile up, tests fail. These aren't just annoyances. They're roadblocks that disrupt the entire team's work. And the worst part is that these things aren't necessarily top of mind. A developer's first instinct when something's done is typically to pick up another story, right? Sometimes the most valuable work devs can do is clear away those roadblocks to keep everyone's work flowing smoothly. Jira makes this dead simple with guided suggestions, looking across all your connected dev tools to surface the highest priority items. Developers get instant visibility into the next best thing to work on, keeping them in their flow state and helping the whole dev team be as productive as possible. We've covered a lot of ways we're helping boost developer productivity. But world-class software doesn't come from engineering teams alone. World-class products require developers to work hand in hand with product and design teams to build and ship the right products for their customers. In an agile world, collaboration between developers and designers is a continuous process, not a single handoff moment. Devs work with many iterations of a design when building new features, but it's so hard to keep track. Is it version 2.3, the most recent design, or is it version 2.3.1 sprint final? Together with Figma, we have a major update to the Jira integration that makes it easier than ever for devs and designers to stay in lockstep. Developers now see a design updated label if the design has changed in Figma since the last time they viewed that issue. This means no more back and forth or miscommunication on design status. As you can see, we're adding tons of ways to help devs stay in the flow. With built-in intelligence, command palette, and guided suggestions, and a huge update to our Figma integration, it's easier than ever to use Jira to track all work that flows through your organization, even if that work isn't happening in Jira. And all of this is one step toward building the right dev culture. So that takes us to the next best practice for unleashing the right dev culture. You need to reduce the cognitive load on your engineering teams. Make it easy for them to have the information they need to do their jobs. The shift towards cloud first has led to the exponential growth of services, APIs, libraries, frameworks, and tools a developer needs to keep track of. In fact, Atlassian is currently tracking over 21,000 software components for our cloud products. Keeping track of that many services and systems, like understanding who owns what, dependencies, and the health of these components, was getting impossible. And it was taking our developers away from the one thing they wanted to be doing, building world-class products for you, our customers. This is where platform engineering comes in. Developer experience marries platform engineering with dev teams as a win-win for both sides. At Atlassian, our platform team is chartered with driving standards and empowering our dev teams. And our developer teams will only take the help if it makes them more effective and isn't a pain in the ass. It's a technical term, by the way. Our platform team built an internal tool to help reduce cognitive load and interruptions for our developers, and was so successful at transforming our own engineering culture, we wanted to share it with our customers. Our developer experience platform, Compass, is officially GA and being used by thousands of engineering teams across the globe. Compass provides teams with a component catalog that shows who owns each component, up and downstream dependencies, all the associated documentation, activity history, and so much more. When a product team needs to leverage a service, they go directly to the component in Compass, grab all the patterns and documentation, and can get started right away. They can also easily find how to collaborate with the team that owns that service if they have any questions. Measuring the health of services often involves collecting different data points across different tools, making it difficult to correlate. With Compass, data from multiple sources is centralized into a scorecard, so teams can measure the overall health of their service. Teams can see if spikes in incidents or declining metrics are impacting their effectiveness. And during an incident, developers see the same data as on-call engineers to reduce the time spent looking things up from hours to minutes. And to accelerate software project creation, Compass provides teams with reusable, customizable templates that integrate best practices and adhere to your organization's standards. Teams can quickly spin up new services with pre-configured repositories. Best practices CI/CD workflows, boilerplate code, and scorecards and metrics all in one place. And teams are able to see all the information and metadata from Compass components right in Jira Software, helping them understand their work in the context of their software architecture and its operational state. But we can't rely solely on machines to tame cognitive load. we need to take the human factor into account. Nobody has a better sense of where to reduce the load than your developers. All you have to do is ask, which tools and processes are and aren't serving their needs? Where should we invest next? Developer experience is constantly evolving, so having the right tools in place to measure and benchmark your own developer experience is key. We've partnered with global developer experience organization DX to bring DevX surveys into Compass. These surveys are built on industry-leading research and crafted by the same teams behind Dora and Space Metrics. With DevX surveys in Compass, engineering leaders can get more clarity into dev satisfaction, pinpoint the biggest factors affecting developer productivity, and empower every team to improve with individualized insights and recommendations. So let's recap this one. To unleash the right dev culture, you have to reduce the cognitive load on your engineering teams and make it easy for them to have the information they need to do their jobs. So we just talked about two huge parts of building a world-class engineering culture: keeping developers in the flow and reducing cognitive load. Let's wrap things up with best practice number 3. To unleash the right dev culture, you have to capture the right metrics. While having data like the number of pull requests can be useful, there isn't one metric to rule them all when you're measuring software development. Measuring something that complex requires multiple data points, both quantitative and qualitative. And metrics need to be looked at in context. Just as metrics can help culture, they can hurt culture when used the wrong way. So what should you measure? And how do you use metrics the right way? Over the years, Atlassian has developed some strong opinions about which metrics matter and which don't. Let me walk you through how we measure engineering success. We view metrics as signals, letting us know where we should focus our attention. Let's go back to the pull request example. It is something we measure, but not to turn our engineering org into some version of the Hunger Games. Our dev leaders look at pull requests as one signal among many others to help paint a picture of the individual and team's health and productivity. For example, if we notice that 90% of code reviews are done by only 2 engineers, we'd need to dig deeper to understand why. Are they the only ones with the right level of code-based knowledge? Or if an engineer has 5 times as many PR counts as the median, are they super productive? Or are they constantly needing to patch their latest commits? The metrics are signals for our engineering managers and teams, just a data point to consider as they keep our teams healthy and happy. But metrics and insights shouldn't just be used by leaders. Teams should have visibility into their own performance to foster a culture of continuous learning and self-improvement. With decades of data on the way teams work, Atlassian services the insights you need at the right time in the places you're working already. Let me walk you through some examples. Our engineering teams use team-level metrics in Jira to track how our sprint is pacing and identify any risks that could cause a delay. Our engineering managers and platform teams get real-time Dora metrics for services using Compass scorecards, helping them understand their software delivery health and lift engineering standards. In my role as head of product, I typically look at things at the portfolio level, working with our strategy teams to measure our investments against outcomes. You can use Jira Align to prioritize time and resources in the best possible way and run forecasts to make tough trade-off decisions for new investment areas. And you can leverage Jira Align to track progress towards your company-level OKRs in real time. At every level, teams at Atlassian use contextual insights inside our products to continuously improve. To complement the insights in our products, our cloud enterprise customers also have access to our powerful visualization tool, Atlassian Analytics. We use Atlassian Analytics to aggregate data across teams, products, and portfolios, and then slice and dice it into actionable metrics. And we have 2 new data sources for Atlassian Analytics that provide you with critical insights into productivity and efficiency across your entire business. First, you can use Atlassian Analytics to visualize data from third-party DevOps tools connected to Jira. Our engineering effectiveness dashboards are based on this DevOps data and help our software teams understand and track their progress when it comes to code quality and value delivered to our customers with DORA metrics. And second, you can visualize data from Jira Align Enterprise Insights in Atlassian Analytics. Look, everybody is focused on developer productivity metrics right now, but oftentimes what's slowing down your ability to deliver value has nothing to do with how fast your engineers are able to write and deploy code. It's often upstream business dependencies, like deciding what to build when, aligning on resources, market timing. The list goes on. All these items slow down your ability to deliver software. With Atlassian Analytics and Jira Align, you get the flow metrics for your end-to-end value streams across all the teams, systems, and processes. This gives leadership teams visibility into cycle time, throughput, velocity, and efficiency right out of the box, helping uncover bottlenecks and areas for improvement. And these insights are easy for me to share anywhere, at any time, with anyone. But true understanding only comes from looking at both quantitative and qualitative data. In addition to the metrics I just shared, we run monthly developer satisfaction surveys to collect feedback. This combination of qualitative and quantitative data allows our CTO and his leadership team to understand what's going well in our engineering culture, and more importantly, where we need to improve. We saw some incredible results. When we started investing in developer experience, only 49% of our devs were satisfied with our engineering culture. Now, that number is more like 70%. And we've improved deployment frequency by 300%, and we're not done. We'll keep iterating and experimenting until all of our devs are proud of Atlassian's engineering culture. Hopefully, I've convinced you metrics make things better when used the right way. Okay, we've covered a lot. To recap, I shared 3 best practices to unleash the right dev culture. First, help your developers stay in their flow state. Second, reduce the cognitive load on your engineering teams. Third, capture the right metrics to promote a healthy culture. When tools and practices work in harmony, teams work better, faster, and more effectively. And that's all from me. Thank you for being part of Unleash, and enjoy the rest of the conference.